This is KMTV Channel 3 Omaha, Nebraska, and it is time now for the KMTV News Noon Edition, Thursday, January 23rd, 1958. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins here on News Headlines here. In Hemingford, Nebraska, the State Normal Board will authorize a survey of physical facilities at the 4 state teachers' colleges as Governor Anderson has requested. Board President Bruce Sagemeister of Hemingford said Wednesday. Board action was taken when Board Secretary Alban Lawson completes checking the availability of survey firms to their jobs, Mr. Eggmaster said. Governor Anderson had asked that the survey by an independent agency to be made and decided whether to approve or veto proposed building projects at Peru and Kearney teachers' colleges. The board has given initial approval of a new $850,000 physical education building at Kearney and a $400,000 practical arts building at Peru. The proposals have gone to the governor, who holds veto power over individual building plans financed out of the state's institutional building fund. Kearney interested have protested the proposed Peru expenditure. In Lincoln, Governor Anderson said Wednesday afternoon that he was very pleased with the State Normal Board decision to authorize the survey. I commended the board for authorizing the survey. Mr. Anderson said that it will be given the board members available information to determine the physical needs of the 4 schools. Mr. Anderson said schools are a very important part of the higher education in Nebraska, and I'm anxious to approve the needed buildings. In Taipei was chilled by an earthquake early Thursday. It was sharp enough to awaken most sleepers, but did no damage. In Beatrice, Nebraska, the world late shouted Wednesday for Sherman Dean Williams, 14. He was the only survivor in a murder-suicide tragedy which took the lives of 5 in his family. Dead at the hands of his father, Sherman Dean Sr., 41, were his mother, brother, 2 sisters, and father. The lad himself was in the hospital recovering from shock. Authorities said financial trouble apparently caused his father, who operated a shoe repair shop, to run him up with a pistol at the modest family home early Wednesday. In Lincoln, State Fire Marshal E.C. Iverson said Wednesday he is interested in establishing a safety code for Nebraska high schools and rocket experiments. The marshal, who is charged with safety in Nebraska schools, said he is concerned about potential dangers in rocket experiments. Professor C.J. Frankfurter, retired chairman of the University of Nebraska Department of Chemistry, supports the idea. Professor Frankfurter, expert in explosives, will work with a safety marshal to develop a safety code. Mr. Iverson said he will confer next with Freeman Decker, State Commissioner of Education. Mr. Iverson said he is not intended to put a roadblock to the scientific experiments, nor to question the ability of his science teachers. The marshal said it is main concern in his school that have no limited instruction to no qualified person to supervise experiments. He said it is best to have a program developed before experiments get out of hand. The experimental rocket ship X-15 expected to switch command into space next year will be tested over a range stretching from California to Utah, was disclosed on Wednesday. 2 pilots said that the flight patch would be over dry lake beds extending between Edwards Air Force Base in California and Mojave Desert in Wendover Air Force Base in Utah. The X-15 expected to soar hundreds of miles high at speeds of thousands of miles an hour. In London, a good cry is now available at a medical treatment under Britain's National Health Scheme. Details of the treatment, called Abrasion, were given in medical press Wednesday by Dr. Harold Palmer, who advised the crying treatment for people with bottled up emotions, and consists of removing the root of sorrow from a patient's memory by getting them to talk about his words. Either it's used to relax the patient, and in many cases they burst into tears. In Washington, the United States and Russia appeared near agreement on culture exchange program, informed sources said Wednesday night. In Rome, 2 hot-headed opera singers Wednesday night where Justin Woods received an nostalgia duel at the Rome Opera House, where the rehearsal sword fight expected in the Wheel of Fame. Bulgarian bass Boris Christoph and Italian tenor Franco Corelli exchanged sword swipes in rehearsal downcalls, which left the company and orchestra gasping. The pair crossed blades after an argument about Mr. Corelli's position on the stage. Mr. Christoph said this unscripted scuffle was caused by Mr. Corelli standing too close to him. The Bulgarian crossed the tenor's saber with his steel. Mr. Corelli retaliated, shouted insults, and the fighting was on. During a fire age, Mr. Christoph received a deep cut across the knuckle in his sword hand. Christoph came at me with his sword. Mr. Corelli said, I have not defended myself. I would have been seriously injured. In fact, I suffered severe small cuts of the sword in both hands. Mr. Christoph said he had instructed his lawyer to file suit against Mr. Corelli. The teenager filed and responded that if any ever one has grounds for a lawsuit as myself, I was being attacked by Christoph. Opera House officials said Mr. Christoph was left the theater after the incident has been replaced by Italy's Mario Petri because of non-fulfillment of the contracts. In Chicago, Illinois, Maria Menengi Catalyst Wednesday night crew resounded approval from a Chicago audience for their first singing engagement since their now celebrated episode of the Rome Opera on 22nd. Presented a selection of arias in a city which she first triumphed in this country, the Balta Diva had the audience involved, a glittering crowd in the Civic Opera House created a thunderous ovation, which she responded radiantly. In Washington, the upshot of the current Senate defense investigation is almost certainly will be refrained from assigning any direct blame to President Eisenhower for this country's lag in missiles. The chairman of the Senate Preparedness Subcommittee, Senator Johnson, declared Texas will be used and influenced for a subcommittee verdict intended largely to forget the past. Instead, Mr. Johnson will want the subcommittee to give its emphasis only to recommendations for closing the gap created by the Russians. In Worthing, England, William Davidson and Nellie Gregory got married on Wednesday after having once broken up their courtship. The split-up occurred in 1904. Bride and groom, both 88 and seen each other in 54 years. When they met recently, romance flowered again. The City Planning Board Wednesday approved a section of Interstate Highway Route 3. The strip lies between 28th and 29th Streets from Dewey Avenue to Frederick Streets. The vote was 4-1 with Louis J. Poll in opposition. I believe that Interstate Route 3 is a colossal blunder, he said. The route of the highway was decided by consultant engineers hired in the state. The federal government will pay 9% of the cost, the state 10%. In Caracas, the revolt against the Venezuelan government mounted intensely in Wednesday as General Marcos Perez Jimenez and dictator fought tooth and nail to stay in power. More than 100 persons have been killed and hundreds wounded since the uprising started, as heavy fighting has been taking place among military units. The rebels, led by a revolutionary command, called itself a patriotic church, have acquired ammunition in their rebellion and the police with heavy machine guns in the vicinity of the president's palace. Iowa's traffic toll was raised by 1 with the death of a victim under the early accident. Death was Elmo C. Heitzman, a 62-year-old Riverside, Iowa resident, died in Iowa City Hospital of injury Saturday night in a one-car accident 4 miles south of Iowa City. And now in the weather for Omaha, Council Bluffs, mostly cloudy this afternoon with occasional light snow flurries, high about 30 degrees in Pittsburgh, cold tonight, low 12 to 16 degrees. Omaha temperature standing at 30 degrees with a humidity of 75%. And that is going to be it for the KMTV News Noon Report on this January 23rd, 1958 on a Thursday afternoon. P. Wiggins saying, I hope you have a good day. I will see you later. Bye-bye, buddy.